I'm Ted Orme-Claye, business journalist of SBC Media, and today I'm speaking to Dan Whitlam from GamCare. Dan, thanks for taking time to speak to us. How have you been enjoying the event so far, and what would you say have been some of the key takeaways with regards to player protection and responsibility?
You know, it's nice to be at this amazing stadium for starters, but the fact there's 4 conference rooms, so much going on, a fantastic agenda. I've been in and out of talks all day yesterday. It's been great. There's been a couple of really interesting kind of player protection, compliance, regulatory type talks. I was on a panel yesterday for player protection, had a really good conversation across the UK and international kind of player protection and safer gambling. Kind of talked a lot about this kind of pendulum where kind of 5-10 years ago was very much on the player and the customer to almost protect themselves, and we gave them all the control, and the industry and the regulators are now almost taking part of that responsibility, or in some cases, and it was kind of pointed out in the UK, kind of maybe taking a lot more of that responsibility on the operator and through the regulation itself. Some suggested the pendulum might have tipped too far, which we had a nice debate about. But yeah, so lots of really good conversation, lots of really interesting people to talk to, and yeah, had a great day yesterday. Looking forward to today.
That's great. That's really good to hear. So you've just touched on what you talked about at your panel with regards to regulation and what companies themselves can do. Could you give us a bit of an overview of what GamCare does with relation to operator standards and working with operators to increase those standards?
Yeah, of course. So I'm head of industry standards. I've got a team that are industry facing within GamCare, because obviously kind of about 90% of what GamCare does is very much treatment, education focused. We have a small harm prevention team that solely works with the industry, and we're all about raising standards around safer gambling and player protection. So our kind of headline product is the Safer Gambling Standard, which is like an assurance product where we go out and review safer gambling practices, policies, procedures. We look at a business's culture, how they manage their customers, how they look after their colleagues, how they collaborate with other businesses. So we then assess that across a whole set of criteria and effectively give up to a 3-star rating as a bit of a kite mark to show how well that company is doing in terms of safer gambling, and through that we're providing recommendations for them to go further, going above and beyond, not just the kind of regulatory requirements, but to really kind of push on to further improve that customer experience and player safety. Alongside that, we've got quite a big kind of training team that deliver a lot of face-to-face training, mostly sort of customer interaction focused, but also some e-learning kind of modules as well around suicide prevention. We do a helpline transfer that's a really nice product where operator customer service team can transfer directly into the National Gambling Helpline and provide kind of enhanced support for their highest risk customers. And we've also got a really exciting, like fairly new product called SG Labs, where we can kind of take a problem from a gambling operator and kind of make a lived experience workshop. So bring together our service users that have lived experience of problem gambling and kind of help the operator to give those different perspectives and really help them improve their practices.
Okay, so that's really interesting, like a very wide-ranging area of operations. So building on that, we've got apparently we have the Gambling Act review judgment coming up fairly soon this year. Looking back over the whole process, obviously it's been going on for quite a while now, what would you say have been some of the major themes regarding player protection, responsibility, safer gambling?
Yeah, so like you say, it's been going on a while. We're all quite desperate to actually see this white paper that was apparently due a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully it'll come out before summer recess, but it could slip into kind of September, which would be a real shame. In terms of themes for player protection, affordability has been the big one that's really going to kind of impact the safer gambling practices within the industry. And the whole talk has been around, is there going to be a threshold implemented whereby affordability checks will be mandated? And that's quite a significant change for the industry. At the moment, the kind of customer due diligence, enhanced due diligence, is very much kind of focused on anti-money laundering. The limits are quite high relative to what's being talked about around affordability. And yeah, it's going to be a big change for the industry to shift towards an affordability and what's been called a kind of vulnerability focus. Alongside that, obviously there's been the kind of the headline grabbing stuff around the levy, the shirt sponsorship, general football advertising, sports advertising. But yeah, I suppose from our perspective and my team's perspective, we're really interested in kind of what plays through in terms of that affordability and customer vulnerability piece.
Okay, and going back to the topic of the conference, why would you say it's important for companies and other organisations to attend events like this? And what do you think has been like some of the main advantages for GamCare of attending?
It's about collaboration and talking to people. Like I work fully remote. My team works fully remote. It's very easy to get caught up in your own little bubble and your own world, and the clients that you're working with at that point in time. To come out to an event like this and talk to hundreds, possibly thousands of other people and organisations, to hear what's going on, to see new businesses popping up, to see esports become a much bigger part of this industry, to see kind of where the digital kind of space is going. That you kind of need to see and feel that to understand the speed of this industry, the rapid growth and change, so that you don't get left behind.
Okay, and one of the more prominent areas of activity that GamCare has been involved in over the past year has been the Talk, Ban, Stop initiative. You recently received another funding for, I believe it was another 12 months of operations of that. Could you just give us an overview of the results so far and how it's been working?
Yeah, so Talk, Ban, Stop, like you said, started around a year ago. It's been a really successful collaboration between ourselves, GamStop and GamBan, and I suppose it's the first safer gambling tool that's taken a layered approach. So where safer gambling tools of one operator or a multi-operator self-exclusion system have offered a single layer. This is a true collaboration of multiple tools to give a customer more support to begin with. So GamCare provide the talk element of Talk, Ban, Stop. So they're getting the right conversation, signposting, treatment where they need it. But they're also getting those multiple layers of protection at the point of self-exclusion and not wanting to gamble again. And it's been it's just been evaluated the first year by Ipsos Mori, and we looked at one of the things they looked at was how easy or difficult it was for an individual to override those protections, and the testing sample that they looked at and the customers that they spoke to were 100% unable to kind of circumvent those multiple layers, which is a big success. That might not sound anything in itself, but with those individual tools. There was some loopholes, and by layering them up, that's massively helped.
Okay, brilliant. It's great to hear that's been going well and finding some success. Thanks for speaking to us, Dan.
Nice to meet you. Cheers, Dave.